The successes of the Ukrainian artillerymen have become a key part of the victories won by the armed forces of Ukraine at the front. By cutting off the supply routes for the troops in Kherson, the armed forces of Ukraine forced the Russian Federation to make another goodwill gesture of sorts. Directly involved in this was the spotlight of today's video, the self-propelled Caesar. Today we'll be analyzing this Howitzer's principles of operation and tell you all about its usage on the battlefields in Ukraine. Although the prototype for the self-propelled artillery, the British gun carrier Mark I, was adopted as early as 1917, even at the beginning of World War II, almost all artillery was still moved with the help of tractors and horses. Therefore, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that most countries developed self-propelled artillery in the midst of hostilities. Early attempts were rather clumsy and consisted of a field or anti-tank gun mounted on a truck. Additionally, unlike modern self-propelled guns, with an impressive layer of armor, their crew remained extremely vulnerable to enemy forces. Modern self-propelled guns are highly computerized and are able to independently monitor firing positions using GPS and advanced inertial navigation systems. Digital fire control, ballistic computers, and advanced communications allow individual self-propelled guns to disperse over a large area, firing at a target simultaneously with other guns in the same battery. And regular upgrades to these self-propelled guns have greatly increased their survivability, thanks to which now these vehicles can evade counter-battery fire much faster and more efficiently. Combined with current logistics systems and capabilities that track and report ammunition consumption and levels, a single gun battery of 6 self-propelled guns firing 495 rounds per minute can deliver more than a ton of ammunition directly onto the enemy's head. Now that we have figured out what a modern SPG is, it's time to take a look at the spotlight of our video. The Caesar is a .52 caliber self-propelled 155mm howitzer, whose formidable name is actually an abbreviation translated from French, meaning a truck equipped with an artillery system. Its main goal is to destroy the enemy's infantry, its artillery batteries, bunkers, as well as to ensure passage through minefields and field obstacles. One of the main enterprises of the French defense industry, Giat Industries, which by that time had not yet changed its name to Nexter, was the responsibility of developing Caesar. Caesar ancestors were the TRF-1 towed howitzer and the AUF-1 self-propelled gun, created by the same company, Giat. By the end of the 1980s, towed guns were noticeably outdated due to their low mobility and a higher probability of being destroyed by enemy counterattack fire, so the military industry within advanced countries paid much more attention to the development of self-propelled guns. But the replacing of the TRF-1 howitzers, in service with the French army, with brand new AUF-1s began to eat up a significant part of the country's defense budget. And in terms of design, the AUF-1 of the 1970s needed a major overhaul. Therefore, France's leadership, together with its military command, decided to create a new wheeled self-propelled gun capable of hoisting a gun from the TRF-1 and spicing it up with an advanced fire control system. It was also supposed to save additional funds through the use of some of the technical solutions from AUF-1. The prototype for the future Caesar was presented to the public in 1994, and just 4 years later, the prototype gun was successfully tested in the French army. And although it took another 2 years to deliver the first 5 systems for the army, in December of 2004, Giat received a contract for 72 Caesar self-propelled guns in order to equip 8 batteries of ground artillery in the French army, replacing the TRF-1 towed howitzers. Additionally, after a detailed review, the command decided to simply purchase additional Caesars, instead of continuing to seriously upgrade the AUF-1 SP to the improved AUF-2 standard. Caesar was the first mass-produced howitzer based on an automobile chassis. Other countries also attempted to create something similar, but France managed to successfully implement the concept of a powerful howitzer on the chassis of a military truck, combining a relatively small weapon weight with high tactical mobility. The original version of the ACS was created using a towed 155mm TRF-1 on a 6-wheeled Mercedes-Benz Unimog U2450 chassis, but the production version from the French Army received a 6x6 Renault Sherpa 5 chassis with additional armor. At the same time, the country didn't want to limit potential customers to one version. Therefore, it proposed the installation of guns based on other trucks. Modularity then became another advantage of Caesar. After all, thanks to this design principle, in addition to the chassis, the customer can install their own radars, fire control system, initial speed measurements, and completely customize the crew cabin. The artillery part of the setup is a 155mm howitzer with a .52 caliber barrel and can safely be called a universal weapon, at the very least because it's compatible with the entire range of NATO shells, including cluster ones. The ammunition carried consists of 18 shells and varied modifications on the 6x6 wheel setup and 36 shells on the 8x8 version. The installation's rate of fire is 6 rounds per minute, which in conditions of intense fighting is not much less than the maximum rate of the legendary M777, which is 7 rounds per minute. Although, according to some reports, the gun's maximum rate of fire in the latest modifications is up to 8 rounds per minute and 3 rounds in 18 seconds. When using the extended range full bore, or ERFB projectile, the howitzer can destroy targets at a distance of 26 miles. When firing rockets, this figure reaches more than 31 miles. But even despite the Caesar's impressive rate of fire, one of the chips up its sleeve is the ability to quickly gather itself up and exit the firing position. It takes about 2 minutes to fire the same standard 6 rounds and quickly set the howitzer off. At the same time, the gun is very demanding on the crew, and in a normal situation, 5 people are needed to control the system. Still, in critical situations on the battlefield, a crew of 3 soldiers can also handle the gun, as the manufacturer itself has claimed. Here you can, again, compare the howitzer with its ancestor, the 155mm TRF-1, which requires 8 people at once to work effectively on the battlefield. Another advantage of the howitzer's emphasis on mobility is that it can be easily moved using a C-130 Hercules or A-400M military transport aircraft, as well as amphibious assault vessels, service ships, and railway platforms. In addition to the firepower, it's impossible not to mention the advanced computerized fast hit system, which provides automatic fire control, developed by Nexter specialists together with the EADS Defense Electronics team, along with the Intertechnique ROB-4 radar system. The latter is responsible for monitoring the muzzle velocity of the projectile and transmits information to the Matra Defense Equipments and Systems CS2002G onboard computer. The computer performs a number of functions, including a 3-dimensional display of the local friend or foe situation, and is responsible for managing the state of the weapons, ammunition, and their timely replenishment. At the Eurosatory 2006 exhibition, the French presented an automated laying system based on the Sigma 30 inertial navigation system, which soon appeared on board the howitzers. One also cannot overlook the degree of safety for the cabin in which the crew is located. The cabin has welded steel armor, providing protection from small arms fire with a caliber of 7.62mm and shell fragments. There's also a temperature control device that informs the crew in a timely manner if the ammunition becomes too hot and there's a danger of being burned. In 2015, at the DSEI exhibition, Nexter introduced a new modification of Caesar, which features an even higher level of mobility due to the improved Tatra T815 chassis with an 8x8 wheel arrangement. The modification was equipped with an unarmored 4-seat forward control cab, which is a 4-control 4-person cab, with the option to install armor, a more powerful engine of 410 horsepower, twice as many shells, and a total weight of 30 tons. This version quickly caught the interest of the Czech Republic and Denmark. Moreover, the latter chose the French gun as the new artillery system of the Royal Danish Army, having purchased 19 howitzers. In February 2002, Nexter received a new contract from the French General Directorate of Armaments to develop a new generation artillery system, Caesar 6x6 Mark II. This one will be equipped with a new chassis sporting a 460 horsepower engine and an improved gearbox, fresh fire control software, as well as a Level 2 mine and ballistic armored cabin. After a 4-year development phase, the Mark II will be put into production. But before that, in 2024, DGA will have to choose whether to start the production of 109 units of the latest Mark II or purchase 33 new self-propelled guns, while modernizing the 76 already in service. Speaking of Caesar's operational exploits, it's worth remembering their deployment to Afghanistan in 2009, when howitzers were sent to support French operations. During the French civil operation in Mali to push Islamic militants out of the north, Caesar was deployed as part of the 68th African Artillery Regiment, and in 2016, French forces used self-propelled guns in the battle for Mosul, supporting the Iraqi army's operation to liberate Mosul from ISIS. Although military operations involving Caesar also include the Battle of Baghaz-Fakhani and their use by Saudi Arabia in the war in Yemen, the high point for them has been the war that broke out in February of 2022 between Ukraine and the Russian occupational forces. At the end of April, French President Emmanuel Macron announced the delivery of the first batch of Caesar self-propelled guns to Ukrainian soldiers. And just a month later, the first of these have already scattered the invaders all over the battlefield. Up until November 2022, France had delivered a total of 18 such weapons systems to Ukraine and announced its intention to provide 6 more howitzers by the end of the month. Thus, the armed forces of Ukraine will have at their disposal 24 of the 76 howitzers available to the French army, a quarter of all French mobile artillery. And now it's your turn to share your opinion on the Caesar. Do you think these howitzers have enough power to compete with the M109 Paladin or the M777? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more content like today's. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.